Okay, y'all, I am not gonna lie, I am nervous to do this, but let me explain what's going on. So, before I ever got my Galaxy S9 Plus phone, I had these Ulanzi lenses, which are 17 millimeter. I got this phone because my old phone broke, my Galaxy S5 Note. And I picked the Galaxy, I'm recording with it right now, S9 Plus, because it has an excellent camera for that year, and I wanted a used phone because I just did not want to spend tons of money. I just wanted to use it mostly as a camera. So I already had these lenses, but Ulanzi did not make a case for that model of phone. So my only option was to go with the Moment case, which has completely different attachment here. It's not 17 millimeter thread. So I am just like not gonna spend the money that I could, get Moment lenses or Siri lenses, which would fit in here. I'm just not. Like, they're expensive. They're crazy expensive. I got this used, by the way. This was a used, cheaper case from Moment. It was on the used rack in their shop, in their store. You can see that it is Moment. So I got desperate and I bought a thread tap, a 17 millimeter thread tap. And I'm nervous because this was supposed to be a fine thread, but it really doesn't look like a fine thread to me. But this is such a thin piece of plastic, so I'm like, So I did a couple test holes. I think what I really need to do is just get a 7 millimeter or 11/16 drill bit and make the hole first, because I didn't have a drill bit quite big enough. And I need to use filters with these, and Ulanzi doesn't have, like, I'm gonna have to rig that up. So I'm gonna do a whole nother video about that. I'll show you what I'm gonna do to make it possible to use filters. So this actually does work. I am a little nervous about doing that to this phone case, but I figure I'm going to take a chance because this was used and I didn't pay a brand new price for it. So it's kind of scary. I wish Moment would have just made a case for this phone. I'll come back and show you what I do. And so what's the point, right? Like, why? Why even go through all this trouble? Well, I'm making different types of videos for my channel, and I want to use my own footage. I've been interested in photography for so long, and nowadays you just don't have to buy a DSLR camera, because phones like this Galaxy S9 Plus, which is a few years old, 2 or 3 years old, does excellent job in capturing images, video and still images. So I want to create my own B-roll for my own videos. I don't want to just use someone else's stock footage. And a lot of the things that I do need a filter, need an ND filter. And I really like this one quite a bit, but I can't use this with this. That's not going to work. It just isn't the right size. So, and like I said, Ulanzi doesn't have a way to, from what I could tell, they don't have ND filters, especially a variable ND filter. I really want variable. I need a big one to go over this, because even if I did like get creative with some putty. I really did use some tacky putty, and I like forced it to go in there, but it just doesn't work because this is domed and this is not, and there's aberrations all on the edge. So I need an ND filter that's going to go around the outside, and I found a really cool solution that I'm going to share with you guys for that. And I mean, granted, if I'm using, here's what I found out. When you're using Moment or Siri lenses that fit in here, these break super easy. They just break right off these pieces, and then you can't lock it in because there's no threads. That's just another reason why I don't want to go with Moment, from what I've heard people say. So there's my backstory, people. Let me explain why I'm doing this for those who don't understand why. Some of you already know why. These are the two clips that come with Ulanzi lenses. It screws into these. Well, this one, not only does it prevent me from being able to use the functions on the screen of my phone, I don't know why, but this little rubber deal in here, once I connect this to my phone, it touches the screen and then I can't move anything around. It's like locked. It's like I have a finger on it. So that's ridiculous. Not only that, but it doesn't fit over this case. It doesn't fit, and I have to use a case with this phone because I don't want to break it. And this one, because it doesn't get the lens close enough, it doesn't allow the lens to get right up to the phone unless you don't have a case on it. the lens needs to get closer. Then there's aberrations all along the side of the image. So that's why this is important. That's why they make phones with the ability to attach the lens, because I don't care that there's something like blocking my screen, but when it actually prevents me from using the screen, or it creates aberrations in on the edges of my image, well, that's just not going to work for me. And I am like, wow, I'm not going to spend any more money on lenses or buy a different phone just so I can buy another expensive case that might not be the used version. So that's just to explain to you people why I'm going through all this trouble. And some of you already know this is why this is a problem. So, okay, y'all, here's what I decided. I went down to 5/8 to reference to buy this, because I don't want the hole to be too big. I really want it to be snug. So I'm going to drill the hole with this. That way, when I thread it, it won't be too loose. And then I should just be able to, this should just work really well. That way I can go slow by hand. This is just my test hole, obviously. And I'll probably need to, oh, there we go. That came off good. So now let's try out the lens. Oh yeah, that's really good. That's a really good fit. So, I am nervous. That's a really good fit. Okay, at least I know it will work though, which I am surprised because these threads look so much smaller than this on the 17 millimeter, but it works. It works really good. So maybe it's just due to the fact that it's not super thick. The cool thing is, it's really not going to make like that big of a hole. It's still going to allow, you know, like it isn't going to cut through over here as long as I do a good job. So I'm going to need to reposition the camera so that I can do this properly, because I don't want to ruin this. Even though it's used, I don't want to have to buy a new one. I could make the hole from the back. Yeah, I could do that. I drew some little lines on it as a reference with a pencil. I could do the hole from the back, and then I can thread it from the other side so that it's proper. Please work. It's got to be lined up, because I don't really have this on a press. We're just going with it. Do this. I'm going to cut it and then thread it. But I needed this to know that it was going to thread good, so I don't mind spending the $4 or $5 that it was. Okay, I'm going to cut it off camera. Hey, y'all, this was super difficult. This plastic on the inside, it's hard. It's really hard. And then this outside is rubbery, so it made a bit of a fraying. I had a really hard time with this and everything. But I was finally able to get this to thread through this way, and it looks worse than it is because all this frayed part is actually soft rubber. So unbelievable, but it really does work. I don't recommend this. I would have needed better tools for this, but it does work. I would never trust this to keep it on here without being super careful, because I wouldn't want to break my glass, which I've actually heard people say they drop these and they don't break. It is not pretty, but it did go on. It looks so much worse than it is, but it is threaded. If I had a drill press to make the hole and then thread it, that would work. But this is a 17 millimeter, and it does give it the threads that it needs. So this was not the best way of doing it, but at least you guys saw someone do it. But I can feel it tighten, and I can feel that it's in there. I'd call it successful, just very rough looking. So, thanks for watching. You can't see the threads really, but it's there. Oh well, got it to work at least. Moral of the story is, I don't even recommend this. I'm like really lucky that it even turned out decent. I feel like you're just risking ruining your phone case. and it not working. I am glad that I did it, but I just really say do this at your own risk because you might trash your case. It worked for me, and I don't mind that it's ugly, so it'll be alright.